Okay, let's first talk about the wrong way of implementing slots in Figma. I see a lot of people that just use slot this way. Let's name it. Yeah, and they create this as a component, and then they use this component instance here. When they want to change the slot content, they drag this out, detach, and then recreate another component like this, and then they can change the component content this way, and then they swap this old slot to the new. See, a lot of people do this, but this actually creates a lot of unused components. When you want to publish the library, what are these doing here? They don't really have a purpose serving as a component. So then I see what a lot of people do is that they add a dot in front of it so they don't get published. They think that this solves the problem. Well, let me tell you, the problem is actually if you don't publish, then whenever you make a push, the content inside of these slot components will be forever frozen in time. Let me tell you what I mean by also making the header itself a slot. Let's say that I want to, let's make this a component, and then do this. Okay, so now these two are slots, and one is without dot, one is with dot. Okay, and let's now publish. So let's drag out our modal, and this is where we see our slots here. And this right here, if you want to use this slot so for example, let's say right here, and when we actually update the slot right here to be new content here in this slot, and then if we publish, you will see that this is not published, meaning that where you're using them, you don't see the change. Now when I go to the component, you will see that it's not even the same anymore. So this creates the problem where you don't get any updates this way. But if you publish all of these slots, so meaning that if I remove my dots and I do publish, then it will fix the problem, right? Yes, it will fix the problem. Let me show you. So let's push this way. Now there should be something that tells me that there is an update. Oh, there isn't. Right. Oh, there is. Oh, there isn't an update. Yeah, when you want to even fix the dot, they don't even receive that update. Let's go to the main component. This is fun. Yeah, it still says that this is the main component, but it doesn't. It's forever frozen in time. This one as well is forever frozen in time, unless that you actually drag out this one. This is gonna follow the update. So let's try it again. So right here, if we push the new changes, now this is gonna say there is something new here. This is what I'm looking for, the little dot on the book. Oh, now they change. Oh, now they change. So you see how much trouble you cause if you actually use the dot. So long as you are not designing everything in one file. If you're using this as a library, the dot is very dangerous. But this creates another problem. Because you see all of these components, you will only get more and more of these components. You will, I guarantee, get even more of these components than the actual components you meant to have in your library at some point. So this is not the simple way. Some people sugarcoat it, the simple way to approach the slot implementation. This is public defecation. This is not the simple way. This is just creating a poop everywhere you go in the design system, like you're having a diarrhea. Let me show you what is the correct way of approaching slot. So here I have prepared this example, and I have a header, I have a content area. Let's create a slot. In this case, you're going to use Instance Utils. This is still a free plugin for like 10 years already. So what it does is that if you're inside of a main component, it allows you to convert any frame that you select to a slot. Now this is a slot, and you can even edit the properties of the slot itself. So we can say that this is the content, and we can even make it let's say vertical layout, and then we can also create another slot for the header, and this is named the header, so I don't need to change that name. And whenever you are using this, you can choose which slot you want to edit. In this case, if I want to edit the content, and let's say I want to have 3 of the same repeating text, you can see that this is now 3 layers added inside of the content slot. And let's go to the main component on this one and see what is the main component. So you see that this is the main component, and it's not detached, just like the other method. And you can see that whenever I do a change, it still listens. It's perfectly the same component. And I didn't create anything. Look, if there is like publish, I removed all of these, but there's no new slots at all. When I change the header, for example, it's the same. What's better is that when you have a bunch of slots, this actually shows you where each slot is. That is like, you don't even need to discover through clicking in the layer tree where is the slot, where is the slot. This is already laid out right here. All the slots are here in the Instance Utils when you are looking at an instance, and you can change the slot content this way. So what if you want to further control the slot itself? So for example, if you want the slot to actually space its content, let's say 16 pixels apart, you do actually have that control. So let's just, for example, the content slot, let's make it inherit the parent layout, and this will inherit from whatever the parent is. That currently this is the content slot's parent, and it will inherit its layout. For example, if I want everything to go to the center, center aligned, it will center align. Right aligned, it will right align everything. Left align, it will left align everything. So if I say that, hey, your gap is 16 pixels, it will make all the slots instance 16 pixel gap. So I mean, the padding is super simple to understand because the padding is on the content area itself, but the gap actually needs to penetrate the slot itself. So not only the content area has a 16 gap, you see that the slot itself needs to also have the 16 gap. This is when you set the inherit parent layout, then you have control over your children layout. So let's say that I want this to be 8, and now you can see that all the children has changed their slot gap to 8. So you still have some sort of control or influence on the main component over your actual slot instances. So if I say that here this header slot also inherits the parent layout, I can then say on the parents that you, let's say for example, have so you can see that you can obviously change the gap, but this is not caused by the gap. This is actually the text itself is filling the horizontal space. So in this case, let's go here and make these text not fill the horizontal space. Let's give them like a hugging, and then this will do the job. And you can see that the main component is still set to fill on the text, while the slot text has already changed to hug. So you can do really whatever you want, and your slot edit will be forever preserved safely and perfectly. And this won't affect the main component. Let me show you again that if you want this to go on the right side, then you still have the full control over your instance. Let's make a push of the modified component, and let's try it out on the remote. So here I am on the remote file, and I just grab this, and then I will just say that, hey, I want my content to be 3-4 of these, and then I can also insert like an image. Let's say that I want to insert an image, and this is right here. Done. You can also, of course, arrange these any way you want. And wait, I kind of lost my train of thought what I wanted to do, but let me think. So yeah, when you actually make any change here, you're inside of the slot. Let's say that I want to put a lorem ipsum of one sentence, not paragraph, one sentence. Remember, this is what I changed, right? And then when you have a new change of the main component, let's say that I give it like a stroke or something to demonstrate that I did a change. Then when you want to make a publish, then you will receive the update. See the little bookmark has a notification here, and then you will receive this update. So when you update, all your content will be perfectly preserved, because this is how you actually use real slots in Figma, and you don't have none of the drawbacks. And now it's time for me to show you what is even better using slot this way. So not only you have control over the layout of your slot, you can also let's say you can also specify what is allowed to go inside of each slot. For example, if I say that my content area allows text to go inside of it, I also, let's say, allow rectangle to go inside. Let's create a rectangle, and let's say that I also allow the button to go inside, just for example, right? Then these three items are the only elements that are allowed inside of this slot. And for the header, conversely, let's say that we only allow the text to go inside of it. So let's now make a comparison. So when we publish, and let's try it out on the remote. So now let's turn on Instance Utils. You can see that in the header, I need to update. So you can see that on the header we only allow the text to go inside of it. So if we try to make a rectangle and want to shuffle this inside of the header, you see that that gets destroyed. It never went inside of the header. So let's try the same for our content, because our content says that it allows these child elements, the text, the rectangle, the button, to go inside of it. Let's add a rectangle and let's put it inside, and it did went inside. So let's apply the changes. That works. So this is if you want to have very detailed control over your slot, you still have that ability to control it. So let's add a button, since button is also allowed to go inside of a slot. Let's put it somewhere here, and then you can see that the button did indeed went inside of the slot. But what we didn't allow, for example, we didn't allow frame to go inside of it. So let's change the frame color. This frame, if I put it inside of the slot, let's look what happens. So bam, it gets ejected, and suddenly it went outside. This is basically kicking it out, because it is not allowed in the slot whitelist. So this is actual layer of control and constraints that you can control when the user is using your slot. Not only they have the slot's intent here specified, what is the intention of this slot, what goes inside, but also you have this assurance that it won't went wrong, right? So this is basically Instance Utils slot. Let's say what did I miss? If there's anything that I missed. Okay, basically that's it. Yeah. If you want to ever remove a slot, let's say that the header slot I want to remove, I don't want it to be a slot, and then you can see that suddenly all of the slot in the instance is gone, and that's something that you can also do. So this slot is like reversible. If you publish this version, the header no longer has a slot. Let's see this update. Then you can see you only have the content slot here. Your header is without the slot, but the content is still having the slot. So this is the correct way of approaching the slot versus the absolute insane way that people like to sugarcoat as the simple way to approach the slot. And Instance Utils is not trying to lock you in. Again, it is completely free, and it doesn't do anything that the Figma doesn't natively support, and it doesn't litter everywhere and create a poop everywhere in your design system. It keeps it super clean. There's no hidden page that I create. There's no absolutely anything. I am the #1 guy that against public defecation.